Over the past few years, my interest in game design and the games industry has really shifted from being stuck in this is a pipe dream to I'm actually going to try and make a run at this. I am still just a student trying to learn as much as I can through each day of unexpected surprises just so that I can get to that ultimate goal of employment in the games industry. So far, I've basically went from zero knowledge on game design to, I would say, somewhat maybe kind of proficient with Unity and familiar enough with puzzle and design concepts thanks to my own time creating and courses that I took at school. And with that came a capstone course where I had the pleasure to work with some of the most outstanding teammates one could ask for, and from that came TVO. Before we go into that, what I'm aiming to do here is not explicitly make a tutorial on Unity or game design or anything like that. The fact is that I love games and I've started to really love creating, playing games, and sharing information. Trust me, I know how hard it is to crack your way into the games industry. From that, the internet has spawned tons and tons of game engine tutorials out there. However, I don't really see a lot of videos or tutorials that share what it's like to take an idea and create a project out of it, to develop ideas and put them into an engine, or to make sure your puzzles are tested enough and at least okay. And to hopefully take that final step and, ship your game and put it up there for everyone to see and to prove that you can be an asset to a studio somewhere. I don't know why it's such a secret. It almost seems like it's a gate-kept concept. Since I can't make an objective tutorial on this or anything like that because everyone's journey is a little bit different, I just wanted to make a series on what it's been like to work on a project from very start to hopefully something like shipping on Steam. After all, that is our current goal as I'm making this video. This started as a school capstone and we're trying to elevate it to that next level. YouTube is pretty new to me. I would still say that Twitch is my main platform. Shameless plug here, if you enjoy the vibe and you like this video, consider checking out my Twitch channel, which is under the same name, where we try to cover things like design and we talk about things in the industry, but we also just, hang out and play games and try to make it fun for everyone. Anyways, at the very least, I hope this video is somewhat informative, and to be clear, I am not stating this is the absolute only way to make your project. I am not commenting on professional industry processes. I just want to share our process and what worked well for us. Maybe you have practiced a bit in your engine of choice, and you feel like you're ready to start a project, but you don't know exactly how or where that starting point is. I hope shining some light on our process is helpful. So with that, let's get into it. The first step in breathing life into our project, ideation. Look, I know the pull to downloading an engine and just diving headfirst, learning about tools, game objects, prefab, scenes, scripting, all of the good stuff. I still think it's a great idea for anyone who wants to get into game development, no matter what roles you want to take. It's always good to at least have an idea of how the project works in all aspects. I have this personal project that I was working on in Unity, which is still something that I want to work on and finish one day. Anyways, I was in Engine still, creating a character controller, playing around with physics, building a level. Everything seemed good until I realized I was so focused on learning and building an engine before I actually figured out what my main mechanic was. Really hammering down a concept is super important before building anything in Engine. The official way to do this is a design doc, with most of your game completely built out before you do anything else. I'm not going to go into the depth of what a design doc is because that could probably be an entire video itself. It's basically a document that covers all parts of your project. If your game was a meal, your design document would be its recipe. That might be a terrible analogy, but that's sort of how it is in my head. To be honest, we didn't even do an official design doc. That may be the best way to go when you absolutely know that every technical thing you need to do is doable from the get-go, but we didn't know that. We also didn't just fall into the engine and make up things as we went. It was somewhere between official design doc and complete chaos. The point is, we realized that we needed the main mechanic to be clear to all of us. This phase was meetings, Google Jamboards, just playing games, throwing game ideas out there, using other games as inspiration, and so on. If you're looking to make something individually, first off, wow, I have mad respect for you. Second, I believe this still all applies, except instead of meetings and throwing ideas around, you can just say, this is mine, and it's going to be the way that I want it. Bottom line is, on paper this stuff seems very simple and almost not even worth it. When we actually did it though, we realized it became crucial. For every single puzzle in Tvo, we spent time in a blank dock or a Jamboard literally just drawing on it. You don't have to be good at drawing. I'm not good at drawing. Look at this shit. But before opening up that daunting engine, this step became natural for us. We could toss out an idea that seemed absolutely flawless, and 5 minutes into drawing it up, it had more holes in it than the plot of Game of Thrones Season 8. It was only until we patched all the initial holes did it go in engine, and hopefully no more appeared when it was laid out in there. This thought process is especially important if you have multiple factors to deal with. If you're trying to make the next Flappy Bird, this step may be a lot shorter and a lot simpler. But for our game, we had a few important things that we constantly had to worry about, or at least keep in check. With every puzzle, we had to make sure it was intuitive with our multiplayer, our main mechanic, which is essentially point and click, our aesthetic, and most importantly, our project scope. With each team I have built a game with, the hardest part has usually been having ideas that seemed really cool, but then deciding to drop them because of our time and knowledge limits. They just weren't realistic. I feel like the best skill in creating that I have picked up since I started getting into game development is knowing my limits, and if I'm working with a team, is also knowing the team's limits. This allowed us to explore more specific concepts that were within our grasp and realistic to make. There's nothing worse than getting halfway through something and realizing it's too much. We tried our absolute best for the entire term to make sure that that did not happen. Well, that's sort of it for the beginning of Tvo's journey. This whole step is sort of vague. The process is a little different for every single project, but I think that the foundation still stands, which is that it's important to feel confident and secure about your idea before you start building it. Seems obvious, I know. I'm going to try to consistently build upon this in a little series. This video seems like sort of a prologue. So if you like what you've seen so far and you don't hate my voice, consider subscribing to keep updated. Next, I'm going to make a video on Tvo's birth and how transitioning from ideas to prototype was like for this weird little game. Also, if you're into Twitch, again, please check mine out. Come chat with me about this. Come chat about anything games. It's what I love to do. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.